Tonight, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Talking about energy, antioxidants, healing, the body, the nervous system, how energy flows, electrons, all kinds of good stuff. Stuff that I had no idea even existed. So, again, we'll make about another minute. I'm just going to wave everybody in. Mom and Dad in here. Awesome. Awesome. How's everybody doing? Everybody making Monday matter? I like that mantra. Make Monday matter. Triple M's. So, another live. Yep. Another Cobcast. Cobb Cares. I can't wait to have my own podcast soon. We got the actually equipment. We're setting up a little studio in the house, and so hopefully I can get these kind of talks on YouTube or not YouTube, iTunes. But I am making a YouTube channel. I'm putting together all these lives. I'm putting together more content. So again, I love the feedback. I love all the comments, the questions. That helps me keep learning more and more, and I want to give that back to you. So we go ahead and get started. Again, people will trickle on in. Please fire away with questions if you got any. I'm going to go for a little bit, and I will stop and answer questions as best I can. Sometimes I flow and just keep going based on the stuff I've learned and the things that just come to me. So anyways, thanks for joining me. Basically, first of all, don't believe anything I say. I always tell people this. The things that I say are things that I have uncovered personally. I'm not a doctor. I like this one. I don't have a PhD, but I have a COB. I'm just addicted to coming out better. And it was about a year ago where this all happened that I kind of started getting introduced to a plant-based lifestyle of food. Obviously, I've known about Kangen water for so long. I was understanding just, getting out of my comfort zone and finding different ways to better myself. And what happened was in December of 2017, right before 2018 started, I had this realization and a divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, that I had to learn about food and all these different things and detoxification. And fast forward about 4 months into that next year, my father was diagnosed with leukemia, and obviously it was at the time very scary and uncertain of what would happen. And it just kind of wakes you up and makes you think life isn't sunshine and rainbows. No matter how well we think we have it, there's always something that you can improve on. But at the same time, I was really grounded because I already had a sense, an idea of what was really happening. And just that diagnosis that he got really catapulted me into diving into, like I said, more books that I've read in the last year than my whole life. I've never have been a reader. I've never been a school guy. I grew up playing sports, so reading and learning and educating was just something that I was doing so I could play basketball. And it was never thinking of it as a way to literally better myself and go deeper into myself. And that's, understanding the body has different systems and different cells and different functions and acid alkaline balance and electricity and enzymes and so much stuff that we're not taught in school. We're not, it's not shown that to us in society. And so for me, it was just kind of a lining up of everything happening that I really dove in and really understood and researched and read and connected dots. I was reading journals and book after book, audiobooks, podcasts, top scientists, top doctors, and taking all their tidbits and putting together, stepping back and then connecting my dots. So again, everything I say, just take with a grain of salt if you want. Research it. You can say this guy's crazy. That's cool too. I've heard it all, but at the same time, I know the things that I'm doing are working. They're working for me. They're working for my family, for friends, and people that are really, who want to choose to listen, who want to choose to heal, who want to choose to be better. And I posted something today that you can only share a message with someone who's ready to hear it. Sometimes someone doesn't want to hear things that, they're doing wrong, or, maybe it goes against their truth, or questioning what they thought was right. I'm not about that. I'm just here to provide information to those who are willing, and when they're ready, to seek that. And that's the whole big thing about planting seeds. And I do a lot of seed planting in people, just giving them something to think about, something to try. And that's kind of where it all started. So basically, I want to talk about energy. in the form of how energy's, whatever it is created, how it's passed, how we can consume it, how it's maybe manifested, how it's being presented in our reality. And another big thing is antioxidants. Just because so much now in the society that we live in, and so many people go back to, the cavemen didn't do it this way, or 100 years ago we didn't do it this way. And if you keep going back to those times, you're going to get caught in that paradigm of going backwards and not actually the present moment. The cavemen didn't have 100,000 chemicals that are being pumped into the environment after the Industrial Revolution. There was no Industrial Revolution when cavemen were out. So that's already something that changes. You always have to go with change, and that's how the economy goes, that's how businesses go, that's how relationships go. If you constantly feel like, no, this is one way forever, you're going to get stuck and you're going to have life bite you in the butt and you're never really going to get anywhere. So kind of taking a step back, understanding that I don't know anything, I'm open to learning everything is your first step into becoming a better version of yourself, because that's where we really find the truth in things. And so for me, understanding the body, understanding how it works, these are really two good books that I wanted to share. Again, I always have these books. This is The Body Electric. So basically, it's an understanding of the human body and how electricity is used to regenerate, rebuild, recuperate, revitalize the body. We underestimate the body's ability to heal, and so this really breaks it down and talks about how that happens. Another favorite one of mine, and these are long reads. I mean, this one right here is almost 600 pages that I've gotten through, and this is called Healing is Voltage. And I'm actually going to spend about 5-10 minutes reading a couple excerpts from this and go over it and kind of show you guys and connect some dots that would make complete sense. And I'm excited to share that. So stay with me on those. So we'll go over that in a second. And I also got my iPad because I do want to give you guys some visuals, not always just me talking. Visuals help us learn sounds, sights, writing it down, and all those things like that. So basically, everything is energy. Now, we've heard that energy can be passed one thing to another, but it can never be stopped. That's the whole theory of energy and Albert Einstein and things like that. But what we don't realize is that there's all kinds of different forms of energy. There's light energy, there's sound, there's visual energy, there's actual motion energy, there's object energy, physical touch. All these different things have a different form of energy. And the most times we hear energy is energy drinks, like Red Bulls and stimulants and caffeine. And we think that's the only way energy is created in us is those things. And those are synthetic energy. That's actually was created in a lab to give you the same benefit where you're going against nature and how you were actually designed by the creator. And so think of it that way. So one big thing that I've noticed is that the energy you put out is the energy you receive back. And that is in the terms of positive affirmations, speaking highly about yourself, not really gossiping in that low frequency, low energy feeling. And to understand that, you have to be aware of the things you're saying, of the thoughts you're having, because all that is manifesting in energy in different parts of your body. And to think of it this way, imagine there's always a balance, a positive and a negative. There's always, like our batteries, right? A positive and a negative. Masculine, feminine, yin to the yang, salt and pepper. There's always a balance. And it's when our balance in our bodies are off, we can't achieve that homeostasis. And homeostasis is what you really want to strive for in terms of living an optimized, vital life where you can create and experience life, right? We're here to experience life. Life isn't supposed to happen to us. The things that we're going through, whether they're difficult, setbacks, negative, whatever it might be, we chose that based on a series of choices throughout our life. It wasn't just bad luck. No, you've probably thought that enough to a point where it actually was created. And so always remember there's a positive and there's a negative. And so same with energy and voltage, basically in the body, there's a positive and a negative as well. And basically, how can you be sure about the energy thing and nurturally achieve that fully positive feeling people talk about? Right, that's a good question. So that positive feeling, that people really talk about, there's a lot of time, more times than none lately, people are kind of going through that fake kind of positive awakening. They're saying it, this, but they haven't really embodied it because there's probably a couple blocks in their body, energy blocks, that is holding them back. And that's a great question because that goes in now to the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind runs everything. Just you watching this, over 10,000 chemical reactions were going on that allows your heart to pump, your lungs to breathe, your muscles to contract, your tummy to digest, and yet you aren't even conscious about it. Your subconscious runs it all, and that's been programmed since you were born. So if you've been neglected, if you've had trauma, abuse growing up, that energy that you felt at that time never left, right? Life just kept going, but that energy stayed with you. And so now fast forward to, I'm almost 30 years old. And if I'm still holding on to something in the past, whether it was when I was 5 years old, 10 years old, maybe a trauma when I was 16, something like that, if I'm not aware of it, and it's hard because we have so much time in our life, if I'm not aware of it, I can't get rid of it. I can't sit with it. I can't see it and let it go. So those positive feelings that you might say you can't be having aren't going to come. And remember, feelings, this is how it works, at least in my reality, is the brain, right? Every thought, any kind of thought, unless you're meditative, that's why meditation is so important and so helpful, is that you just kind of be still and there are no thoughts. You're just being for the first time, because we have I want to say 60,000 thoughts in it. Just bam, 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 bam. But each thought creates a chemical reaction. That chemical is released. When the chemical is released into your body, into your hormones, into your blood, into your tissue, that is an emotion. What is emotion? Energy in motion. My emotions are a mess. I can't get right. Oh, I'm so like this. I'm like this. Well, your energy is all over the place. You can't find that homeostasis where you can find bliss, but you can also be okay with setbacks, because that's part of the life you're experiencing that you have control of. And so when those chemicals are released into those emotions, and then what happens is our body is the subconscious mind. What our subconscious mind is feeling is how we're feeling. So a lot of people are kind of get a little tight, a little tense up here, tight back, just something not right. Like, man, I feel tired today. That's just stuck energy. It's their energy in motion going through their body, and that's their body's way of feeling it. That feeling in their lower back stems from that emotion that they might never really faced, whether it's, lack of belief, lack of self-worth, having shame, like guilt, lust. A lot of the cardinal sins we talk about are those stuck energy emotions at a low frequency, right? And so that energy flows through us. And so that's why all of a sudden our bank accounts never go up. Can't seem to find someone we really care about, that special someone. We can't seem to achieve our physical goals. Maybe I want to lose 10 pounds. We can't seem to achieve these things because our energy's all out of whack. Try to visualize the good and let my workouts kind of fix this emotion. Awesome. I'm actually going to mention that in a second about workouts. I'm big on workouts, and what they do, they create electrons and they get those emotions moving, because those emotions also, they flow in water, and that's a whole nother topic. It just goes so deep in so many different ways. It's absolutely beautiful when you really kind of jump into it and see it, but you want to make sure you're aware of it, you're feeling these things, and you're able to get better from it. So what I want to kind of go over really quick here in this book, and again, it's a long read, and again, you won't find this in many stores. Actually, it took me 4 different tries to just get this book on Amazon. They kept selling out, and then it's just very hard to get, but I got it. And just on the back, it's a short excerpt. We are constantly wearing out our cells and have to replace them. We get new cones in our retina and replace our lining of our gut every 2 to 3 days. We replace our skin every 6 weeks and our liver every 8 weeks. Chronic disease occurs when we lose our ability to make new cells. This book discusses how that happens and what to do to correct it. Now, this says healing is voltage, but that voltage is energy. That's just another way of saying energy. And so let me tell you here real quick. Again, this book is incredible. I highly recommend reading it. It's a long read, but there's a lot of tidbits that you could probably take and really run with it. And so stick with me, and I won't spend too much time on this, and I just want to read you a few things. But basically, so we've all heard acid alkaline too. Okay, now stay with me, and I'll try to go slow and try to really close your eyes and paint the picture, because if you get this, by the time this live is over, you might have a new outlook on how to change your life. You might have a new outlook on what foods to eat, a new outlook on what thoughts to think, a new outlook on how to really go about your life and connect these dots that makes life a little bit simpler maybe than it is for you right now. And that's what I want for you, because life, as good as it seemed for me, it was a struggle. And 2018 was very hard. And I had to go really deep within myself and say, how can I get better from all of this, despite the things that I was going through with me and my family? Basically, pH is shorthanded for potential hydrogen. It's really just a measurement of voltage. okay? You either have a thing called an electron. Okay, we know what electron is. That's a type of energy. An electron, a donor or a stealer. Positive, negative. I'm going to steal or I'm going to donate to you. Okay, most of the times, life is stealing electrons from us and we're getting sick. Those are free radicals and toxins. They're constantly running around taking everything they see, right? And they're leaving us with nothing. And so when our cells don't have anything to rebuild, what happens? We begin to age. We begin to inflame. We begin to oxidize. Like an apple cut open, it starts turning brown. We then introduce and open the door for chronic disease. Colds, flus, discomforts, autoimmune diseases. All these things are now because electrons are being stolen from us due to the lifestyle we live in, that we can only control so much. The air pollution, the toxins, the chemicals, the pharmaceuticals, all these different things are constantly being pumped into EMF, all these things like cell phones, Bluetooth. Even on this, I got an EMF chip on my phone that reduces EMF wireless radiation. Just finding a different way to always prevent these things for myself. You will hear a lot of statements such as, all disease occurs when you are acidic, right? You probably seen me post that. That's another thing I've uncovered. What this is really saying is that all disease occurs when your voltage is low or in an electronic stealer state. Remember, your voltage, when it's low, when your voltage is dropping down, you are more susceptible to issues, right? And so an electron stealer, thieves, okay? Free radicals, they're free, they should be in jail, and they're radically behaving, and they're stealing electrons from you. That's all it is. That's all these, these diseases, these diagnoses, these mononucleotuberculosis, all these things. It's so confusing and we have no idea what's going on, but electrons are being stolen. It causes damage. It's got a pH of about under 7, which is acidic, is a free radical. It's a positive reading. Now, not in a positive way, like good job. Positive as in is actually a stealer. It's destructive and it spins left. And the reason why I say spins left, I'll explain that toward the end. Another thing you will hear is such statements as alkalize or die. Make sure you alkalize your body. What this means is that you must have electrons that are available to do work or your cells will die. Wouldn't it make sense that all we need is electrons? That would make complete sense. Remember, electrons is a form of electricity, a form of energy in the big compass of that word, okay? A free radical is a molecule that's actually missing electrons. So he has no electrons, he has no energy, it's dead. But it's in us, and as they keep looking around, they're trying to take electrons from our bank, right? We got a bank of cells. We got a bank of electrons, $1 million. Okay, you wouldn't open up your bank account to the world. You wouldn't tell everybody your bank routing number. Yet you do it every day, unknowingly, to toxins, free radicals, acid, inflammation, chemicals, drugs, alcohol, stress, negative thoughts. All these things are literally taking an electron or a dollar bill from your bank. And by the time you're almost out of money, and once you're going into debt, you're literally asking for issues of all kinds, okay? We maintain our health, and our health primarily by making new cells. To make a new cell, get this, to make a new cell requires a voltage of negative 50 millivolts just to make a new cell, okay? Negative 50 millivolts. So here's a good example. This is a great example to use. Say your thumb. Okay, you got your thumb. Hopefully it's nice and pretty. You know, it's got a voltage of negative 25 millivolts. Okay, it's solid. Pink feels fine. Now, let's say you hit your thumb with a hammer. Ouch, that would hurt. Okay, and this is just an example of your thumb. Maybe this is your heart. Maybe this is your kidney. Maybe it's your prostate or your ovaries or something where cancer survives, or maybe it's fat or diabetes or cholesterol or heart disease. Here's your thumb with the inflammation. Okay, when the thumb is red, swollen, and hot, and is pulsating pain, it has automatically gone to a negative 50 millivolts. Okay, this is necessary to make new cells and to replace the ones that you damaged with a hammer. So when that happens, your body, okay, in reaction, sends things to that area to rejuvenate, to replenish. Okay, over time, as soon as you finish making enough of those cells to replace and recover, your thumb goes back to a negative 25. All right. That's only if you're supplying your body with enough electrons. If you're putting more money back in your bank, because when you hit your thumb, and you damaged it, or you hurt your heart, or you had a lung issue, or you had something going on with your whatever it might be, if you're not replacing it, right, with electrons, so your body can regenerate and renew and replicate cells, you're going to get stuck. And over time, we get stuck and re-stuck, and it's like getting another credit card, getting another credit card, getting another credit card. Next thing you know, we're $50,000 into debt, and the doctor's calling us and saying this is what's going on. And that's the last thing we want to hear as a person. Now let's assume that I ran out of voltage before I was able to make enough new cells, and now my voltage dropped to 10 millivolts, really below, negative 10 millivolts. Now you're stuck in that chronic disease phase. So you can see how that snowball effect, now it goes back to the thing, electrons, right? And again, this is just so many little excerpts from this book that really makes so much sense, and it's really incredible. Another thing, okay, so what I want to read is, without the ability to achieve a negative 50 millivolts in your body. Remember, the negative 50 is to have your cells rejuvenate and replicate. And the necessary raw materials to make new cells, which enter diet, you want to have the building blocks, the enzymes, the vitamins, the minerals, the fatty acids, the amino acids. All those things help give your cells the ability to recover and rejuvenate. You're unable to repair injuries, so they can also lead to chronic disease. You don't need drugs to heal. You need to make new cells that work to heal. To make good cells, you need voltage and a good diet. You also need to remove toxins from the body that damage cells and make you obese. So again, what you don't eliminate, you accumulate. And that's why detoxification is so big. And you're not going to see that much. It's pretty much how much weight can you gain, how much weight can you lose, but it's never how much can you detox out of your body. Okay, and again, all this information is Healing with Voltage, okay, the handbook by Jerry Tennant. Okay, and he's got a lot of other people cited in this book. It's almost 600 pages long. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And so now you can understand that. So the next part, okay, now let's think about everyday life. Let's step away from actually internal body of, sickness and whatever. Planet Earth, okay, it is a electromagnet. Literally has tons of electricity pumping through the ground, right? If you were to go walk outside and say you were feeling lethargic, or you're feeling low energy, or you're just feeling off right or off, your body's craving electrons. Where can you get those? Mother Nature. Okay, there's a thing called grounding. It's just going outside and walking barefoot. Yet, look how much of the world is being taken over by concrete, by sidewalks, by cement, by industrial, by buildings. How many shoe brands there are. Wear this, wear that, wear that. When's the last time you ever saw a commercial say go out and barefoot? You're not, because of the benefits and how well and how good it is for you. An area of high voltage, remember this, always flows. An area of high voltage always flows to an area of low voltage to balance it out. So if I have too much of something, innately, as the creation, it's going to send things down to something lower. So if your body has a lower voltage, say you're sick, you're tired, you're recovering, whatever is going on, you're not feeling right, you're stressed, negative thoughts. If you were to go outside and walk barefoot on the grass, literally the electrons from the earth will flow through your feet and up through your body. However, if you're wearing shoes, you can't get any of it. And I'm blessed enough to have a backyard in my house where I can go out and do that anytime I want. And some of us are fortunate enough to live by parks, to live by grass fields, to go by anywhere where we can literally take our shoes off and put our feet on the ground. But yet we're scared of getting itchy, we're scared of bugs, and we're scared of getting dirty. But yet, apparently we're not scared of getting sick because we're neglecting electrons that enter our body. So that's just kind of another way to look at it in perspective-wise. Another way in food now, you want voltage in food. Anything processed, anything, even if it's something is cooked, that electrical property, the electrons, is slowly being zapped to nothing. And that's why raw plants, raw foods, raw fruits, raw vegetables especially, and living water with electricity that provides antioxidants is what we need. Why are we scared of the itchy? Itchy association, it could be an allergen. I'm guessing that's a good question. My guess is that you could be having an allergic reaction due to an imbalance in the body, so the body is trying to detox of something, but that is a good question. Let's see, we hear design, blah, blah, blah. What's another one? I had a few more excerpts that I really wanted to share. Okay. There's just so much good stuff that I have written and highlighted. Okay, here's another good thing. So, I'm a big proponent on touch, not just like poking you and run away, but actually hugging, hand holding, whatever it might be, because you're actually exchanging electrons, you exchange energy. And remember, when something high flows to something low, electrons are distributed. So, say you have a significant other, and one of you has a lower voltage than the other. Like mine right here. So what happens is whoever has that higher voltage, and whoever is a little bit lower on the voltage, just by touch, by putting their hand on their back, by giving them a hug, by holding their hand, you are actually exchanging electrons. And it's a beautiful thing because, growing up, we're so shamed on touch. Don't touch, keep your hands to yourself. Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, you're a grown man, you don't give hugs. Or, oh, come on, that's just a little tap on the back and then that's enough. That's literally neglecting you from getting electrons, from exchanging that energy from high to low to figure out that balance. So I think that's pretty interesting to think because, I've done it times with my family, with friends where I just wanted to give them a hug, and for whatever reason, they just feel better after that. And they feel better. And also oxytocin's release, a lot of hormones and chemicals. It makes complete sense when you connect those dots, but the form of electrons, just like I'm low voltage compared to Mother Earth, so when I'm stepping outside with my bare feet, sure, I can lay down and hug the ground, but I'll just put my foot on the ground and she's going to give me a hug. And I always feel better after going outside barefoot. And then you have the sun and all these things. So when two things touch, for example, if I hold a dog or a cat, I'm a lower voltage than the dog or a cat. The animal will actually donate electrons for me. No wonder why people love pets. No wonder why someone can come home, have a bad day. That dog has been running around in the grass, has been playing, has been breathing, probably has been eating probably raw, organic, good, clean food, hopefully. And all of a sudden you pet that dog and you feel life again. Well, those are electrons you just got. It's just this, not because his name was Rex and he looks cool. You literally, that physical touch of your pet, because it's a higher voltage, is what you're getting. Also, if you lean against a tree, it can do that too. You can do all these things. Moving water is always an electron donor, right? It gives electrons. Still water is an electron stealer. That's why after a bath, we can feel a little bit tired, because over time, if the water is still, it's actually going to take electrons from us, which is pretty interesting. Swimming in the ocean will give you electrons. The ocean's always moving. There's electricity. There's all kinds of life in there, okay? It's all connected. Now, when we exercise, this is another good thing. This is actually a pretty interesting part. Our muscles create electrons. The muscles are also rechargeable batteries. Thus, the movement of our muscles recharges our muscle batteries. Exercise is a major way the body acquires electrons. So just movement. Remember, to contract a muscle, there's electricity that needs to be used. So when you understand these things and you kind of get a good idea of how energy is created and distributed and how it flows and how we can get more of it and less of it and how we can give it away and take it back, you kind of might have a better understanding. Well, okay, no wonder I'm so tired, or no wonder I don't feel a certain way, or no wonder I can't get my mind right. It's because your energy is off in your body and there's blocks and there's an imbalance and there's no homeostasis and there's a too high and a too low, and there's just never that fine, even line where you can now experience and enjoy life instead of having life happen to you. And so I think that was a lot of good, interesting ways kind of to explain it. And, common other ways, again, and this might be something that's going through you, and these are ways that electrons can be taken from you. Energy can be taken. My energy is drained today. Well, did your day entail this? Were you drinking acidic water, tap water, chlorinated water, fluoride, or most bottled water? Because that immediately will take electrons. Okay, we know my spiel on the whole water biz and the whole understanding of how electrons should be given to you, not taken from you, and that's what Kangen water does on a daily basis, which is truly a beautiful, beautiful way of explaining it. Carbonated beverages, caffeinated beverages, soda pop, coffee and tea, alcohol, cooked foods, processed foods, but also healers and doctors. When they touch their patients, if someone like a Reiki healer or an energy healer, they lose electrons and they give it to the patients. That's why the patients feel so well after you meet someone who has a high frequency, a high vibe, a high energy. Hugs transfer electrons from one person to another. Parents, when you hold a sick child, notice how quickly the child gets better and how tired you feel. That's why when kids are crying, we go wake up, we hold them, We put them down and then we're exhausted. We didn't really do anything. We just kind of held them, but we gave them all of our energy and they took all of it. It's just an innate way that humans are able to transfer energy. And moving air, wind, air conditioning fans, convertibles, and hair dryers can all take electrons as well. So next time you're doing those things, realize, shoot, am I giving my energy away or am I getting it back? Am I giving electrons away? Are they taken from me? Or am I donating them for myself? And the last little bit before I close this book, again, this great book, this expert, and this is excerpt, this is something I'm learning right now, and that's energy systems in the body. And another system that's been taking over is about 5,000 years old, and it's the concept of chakras. And I thought it was hocus pocus. I didn't know what spirituality was. I didn't understand how the body is so divinely intricated in all these different energy systems. I didn't even know how to spell chakras. I didn't even know what the colors meant. I didn't know anything. And it's eye-opening once you connect more dots and really understand them. And basically is believe that there are energy spheres in the body that connect you to the universe. Disease results when these energy spheres or chakras spin incorrectly. Now remember, anything that is a donor or electron stealer spins counterclockwise. Let me double check. Spins left, counterclockwise. Anything that's an electron donor spins right. So as long as that guy's spinning donor, that chakra is firing. Okay, there are energy centers along the spine, located at major branchings of the human nervous system, electricity, beginning at the top of the spinal column and moving upward to the top of the skull. Chakras are considered to be a point of nexus or biophysical energy of the human body. It states that prana or energy is the basic component of your subtle body, your energy field, and the entire system. It's the key to life and the source of energy in the universe. Pretty incredible, so you connect those dots and you understand it. How do you know when you have enough energy to give away? I think you want to know when you have enough energy to give away is you've got a lot of self-healing, a lot of inner work. You do a little meditation and understand what scenarios, what places, what environments, what people, what activities, what thoughts make you feel a little bit less than you felt when you woke up in the morning. And it's hard to say a concrete number for everybody because everybody's different. And so it takes some time to really step away. And that's why for me, I had to say no to a lot of things this past year. No to going out, no to vacations, no to traveling, no to visiting this or that, or being around certain people that would take my energy. Yeah, it's hard, but at the same time, I appreciate and love myself because that's what I got to do first. One time I held a family member's hand at her hospital bed and the doctors told me to sit down because I suddenly got pale and lightheaded. Sounds ridiculous, but she took all of my energy. Yes, it's not ridiculous at all. My father's on here and there's a lot of times in the hospital as well, I had to go put my hands right on his arm and right on his tummy and certain areas of his body to literally put him at ease so he can sleep. Maybe he remembers, I don't know. I know my sister was there, but I've done this multiple times where I'm able to do that. And I've done it with my grandfather, where at times if I were to give him a hug or kind of put my hand on him, he's a little bit more energized, as well as my mother and all these different things. It's real. And again, it's whatever you decide to believe, but all of this is very real. And so that's kind of energy. I know I'm going on a little bit, but if you could stay with me, I'm going to go talk about, next part is antioxidants, because these are something now, those are what gives the body those electrons. That's what we want. So we're aware of giving our energy away, losing our electrons, someone's stealing them. Okay, we've identified that problem. Now let's flip it. What's our solution, right? The positive, the negative, the problem, the solution. How can we figure this out? Antioxidants. Okay, what's an antioxidant? It's when you have cells that lose the electron. An antioxidant comes in, an electron, and gives that cell an electron. And it's great, and I have a good little image right here. And I'm going to show you guys. And again, I'm just showing you this. You could do this right now, and this is Google. So let's see. So first, you guys can get a look at that. This is kind of what I posted earlier on my page. So these are free radicals, and all I typed in was antioxidants in the human body. Okay, those are electron stealers. Okay, you've got UV light, air pollution, radiation, smoking, metabolism from food, inflammation, too many white blood cells, all those things like that. So when you understand that, you can understand how antioxidants work, and they do that by donating the electron. When we do not give our body enough electrons through the food we eat, through the water we drink, through, whether it's not enough grounding or being in nature, or even breathing, natural deep breathing. Okay, our body's going to suffer, and it's going to start to age. It's going to start to oxidize. We're going to get older, right? We're so scared of getting old and sick and tired, but yet we realize we have tools to flip that. And I think that's very powerful, and people understanding that they do have these skills and these tools to do so. A big thing also, how do we measure electrons? In liquids, there's a thing called an ORP meter, an oxidation reduction potential meter. It has the ability to measure in millivolts a negative number. Remember, the more negative, the more donating it can be. And with Kangen water, you get about a negative 400. Tap water, bottled water, Gatorades, Powerades, alcohol, all those things, there's no negative, there's a positive. They literally take electrons from you. They take your life, they take your energy, they take inflammation and bring it to you. They take your basically your age, and they jack it up, and they wreak havoc on you. And so what you want to try to do is reduce that. And so there's ORP, but there's also another thing called ORAC values. And I love this because I had no idea what the heck this was. And I'm going to show you. Okay, let's refresh this. These are some of the top foods with the highest ORAC content. Okay, number 1, okay, goji berries. Goji berries are huge. You see me eat those. Okay, goji berries. Those have an ORAC value of, I want to say, of course, it's lagging. It's getting there. Stay with me. 25,000. So ORAC value. So again, Google ORAC value. What is that? It is right there, right? ORAC stands for oxygen radical absorbance capacity. What does ORAC mean? It's a measurement of antioxidant capacity in different foods and supplements. Higher values, so the higher the ORAC value, generally imply stronger antioxidant capabilities, and thus will slow oxidative process and reduce free radical damage that contributes to age-related degeneration and disease. Tell that to 1,000 people and ask them, do you want to eat food with ORAC so this doesn't happen? I'm hopefully confident that 999.9 of them say yes. So wouldn't it make sense to eat these foods? And to give you an example, number 1 is goji berries. Number 2 is tart cherry. And I actually take a product, you can ask me, it's called a Poth cherry from a company called Purium. And it is right up there with the second highest ORAC value behind goji berries. After that, there's blueberries or raspberries, prunes, pomegranates, raisins, blackberries, strawberries, plums, oranges, cherries, red grapes, grapefruits, apples, bananas, pears, and it keeps going. Obviously, all fruits. So, understanding that ORAC value is huge, okay? Herbs also, okay, we forget there's herbs that we can take. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, this is just stuff I Googled, and I connected dots, and it makes sense. These are all healthy foods. It's hard to say an apple is unhealthy. It's hard to say blueberries should never be eaten in high consumption. Yet we go and binge away on certain things. Why do people crave these things that are taking away our energy? Good question. One could possibly from programming, from societal programming that milk is supposed to give you strong bones, right? Yet milk, it has almost to a 0 ORAC value and actually creates inflammation and all these things. It takes our energy. It's an electron stealer. Same thing with, animal products. Same thing with GMO food. Same thing with alcohol. Oh, it makes me feel so good and bubbly, yet we have hangovers. Hangovers is due to lacking enough antioxidants to reduce the hydroxyl ions or all the alcohol, the toxins, the free radicals, the acid, the inflammation, that we have nothing to reduce it with. And so then we go and then we eat a highly acidic breakfast and we chug more Gatorade, pop 20 ibuprofens. We think we're fine, but we just destroyed our kidneys, we destroyed our liver. And so all these things are just overwhelming. But we've done it so many years. Maybe up to this day you never heard of ORAC. Yet you know what beer is, right? You know what burgers are. You know what smoking is. All these different things are taking our energy. Wonder why we're so tired. Wonder why energy drinks are booming. Bang. Red Bulls, Monsters. You go anywhere and everywhere you see those. All they're doing is taking your energy. It's synthetic. It's fake. it's oxidizing, and it's stealing your electrons. So just be aware of this stuff. Again, I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm just sharing stuff that I used to do. Everything that I'm saying I used to do, and I was living a life that just didn't serve me anymore, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And so herbs, cloves, cinnamon, oregano, turmeric, like curcumin and turmeric, cumin, parsley, basil, ginger, and thyme. Those are all high ORAC value herbs. Awesome. Put it on all your food. That is absolutely incredible. Okay, those are all great things that you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to measure it. Just put some on there. Just literally sprinkle some on there. Is marijuana healthy? It depends. It depends how are you abusing it? Are you using it recreationally? Are you using it medicinally? There are cannabinoids called CBD. There's other terpenes. There's all these different things in the plant, the cannabis plant itself, in the hemp plant that does help. And I'm a big advocate of CBD. I love taking it. It's definitely helpful. But it just really kind of depends on those other factors as well. But good question. What was the next thing I wanted to talk about? Kind of going to wrap it up here. But yeah, so I'd really want you to kind of really understand in kind of big context. Do we sprinkle turmeric on fruits? Have you done that? I've never sprinkled it on fruit. You can. Curcumin is the compound you want in turmeric. I do have a really good supplement I personally take. You can message me after if you want to get that. Turmeric is actually very good when it's bind with pepperine or black pepper. It's meant to be absorbed that way, and it actually helps obviously with inflammation and a bunch of other things, but its ability to reduce free radicals and, you know, pull out heavy metals and things like that is truly incredible. But I don't put it on fruit. If I do, I put it on, you know, any other things that I eat, but I never tried that actually. Might try it. Going deep, it's like, what point in human evolution were we led astray from these simple natural ways of living? Yeah, just, you know, the ability to make money. You know, you're not going to see, you know, things that are, you know, profit making because strawberries are booming. You know, it's that $28 steak, or it's that new 5-star restaurant, or it's that new fad, that new diet, that new pill, that new thing. And it's always constantly, but less is more. And the less things you make of it, the more life you're going to have. The less you accumulate in your body, the more life you'll have. The less things you're putting that is taking your electrons, your energy, the more life you're going to have. And so these natural ways of living, remember, they're so simple. Just going outside, drinking, you know, electric water, eating fruits and vegetables. It seems so simple, yet it is so hard to do because society just really keeps us distracted, you know. And so just be aware of that. Again, thanks for watching. If anybody has any more questions, please fire away. I love this stuff, and there's so much to talk about. But again, this is stuff I haven't studied it for 20 years. I've really dedicated about a couple of years, if not a really solid year, of just learning this. And all I did was get an iPad or an iPhone, open up Google, get curious, maybe read a few books, right? And put the dots together, and all of a sudden now life is not as hard as it seems. Life is just, you know, very simple and very enjoyable if we allow ourselves to do that. Sometimes we think it's too hard to do this. It can't be this easy. It's got to be harder. It's got to be harder. You know, so it's really eye-opening. But again, this is coming from a guy that experienced it firsthand, seeing it happen with my father, seeing it happen with my family, with myself, with other loved ones around me, and connecting dots and applying it and trying it. I'm not saying all this and, you know, I got goji berries in my cupboard. You know, I'm drinking electric water every single day. I'm getting out in nature as much as I can, even in the rain. You know, just putting my feet in the ground, in the mud, and, you know, giving hugs and saying I appreciate you. These are all little things that we can do every day to make ourselves better and come out better. That's why my whole name, Cobb, Chris O'Brien, is intended to do that, because I truly believe that, and it doesn't have to be as hard as it seems. So keep things simple, keep an open mind, research, get curious, maybe say no to a night out on a Friday and read a book. Shoot, you read one of these chapters, you might be hooked, and you might be 10 books deep like I am, but it's things that apply to you, not just kind of sometimes a fairy tale or something so far-fetched. Those are awesome too, but put yourself first, put your mask on first before helping others. So share this with other people. This will be up for about another 24 hours. I know it's a lot. Hopefully you can come back and watch it again. If you really are curious, take some notes, connect some dots. I appreciate you all. I really do. I love it, and I love helping others. And if there's any way, my big thing is how can I take something that might be complex, scrunch it down, and then as if you're all fifth graders, I could teach it to you, and you'd understand it, and you'd apply it, and you'd change. And, that's the best feeling, is getting those messages and saying, you show me this or this, because remember, I don't do anything. I do nothing but just talk and share. And at the end of the day, you go make these actions. You make these choices. You decide if you're ready to heal. Are you ready to make a change? That's on you. And once you decide that, you're now taking that electricity, that energy back, and now you're using it for your greater good. So remember that. Much love to you all, and hopefully see you guys next week on my next Monday Cobcast. See you guys.